SAS EG Enterprise Guide, quick keys, which are accelerator keys that you may be familiar with when you open up menus like Control C, Control X, Control A. These are standard Windows keys that many other apps have for performing common tasks. What I would wanted to share is keys that are more specific to SAS EG that may be a little different for other applications. So I'm going to be referring to these slides. It's actually part of a class, but the first one I wanted to talk about is the Control M. So the display here is a common split screen where it shows you the project tree on the left and then either the process flow, or for example if you're looking at a data set, it shows you the entire data set. Now what happens is if your screen is very large, high resolution, and you're missing part of the data, if you do Control M, notice that it automatically collapses. Sorry, I put my mouse there so it expands again. It collapses the project tree here. So if you put your mouse over it, it expands it temporarily, and then if you take it out, it gives you a full screen. Now this acts as a toggle, so if you do Control M multiple times, you can see that that's a useful way of toggling. So Control M is a useful tool. Many of the other ones, I'm going to skip some of these, they're common to other applications like Control S for saving your project, Control Shift S for saving programs, Control Print, Control P for print. Control F is a common one for find. One thing that's interesting is, of course, if you're in a program and you do Control F, you're going to be searching for part of the code. For example, if I type run, it jumps to the run statement. So if you're in a data set, however, you're going to be searching for text within the data set. So just to keep that in mind, it may be obvious, but sometimes you're searching, the search is sensitive to whatever view that you're looking at. But Control F is a nice, quick way of getting that. Another one is the viewing the process flow. This is actually a function key in F4. So the process flow, if you hit F4, it shows you this diagram, which is a good kind of bird's eye view of all of your objects that you may see in the project tree, but displayed in this nice flow diagram. It toggles, so if you push F4, it goes back and forth. So that's whatever, let's say you're looking at the program and you do F4. So whatever object you're currently looking at, if you do F4, it goes back to the process flow. It's a useful tool. Now this is interesting. In the older SAS Display Manager, F3 is run, and in the EG, to run the program is F8. So let's say if you're inside a program and you hit F8, it will actually execute. As you can see down here, it's running the program now. So to keep in mind that both F3 and F8 now does a similar thing, where it used to be F3 is the standard, but now F8 is also a quick key to submit or run your program, and then you can see the output result. You can actually do macro recording. I find this tool a little bit cumbersome, so I won't go into in detail, but the Control Shift R is a nice way of starting the ability to record a macro. F1 it's kind of universal, but I like to talk about it because it's context sensitive. So for example, if you're looking at a data set and you type F1, it shows you the help menu specifically to what you're looking at. So in this case, it talks about the data grid, the data viewer. But if you are in, for example, a program and we hit F1, it talks about the program editor. So that's a really nice tool to have context sensitive help depending on what screen you're on. This is another key that is very useful. I had some of it here. So let's say you have a very complex program with a lot of nested logic inside of parentheses. This is not a real program, but I just wanted to show you. So if this is really nested and it is really big in the sense that this is very long, if you're standing here and you want to jump to the bottom to see where, in this case it is very close, but you can use the key combination of control and then square brackets, or control round brackets. But in this case it jumps between the parentheses for you. So this is useful in that you're trying to figure out where the beginning and end of nested parentheses, then that key combination is very useful. Another useful tool is to jump to a particular line number. If your program is very long and you're near the top, you can do Control G and jump to the 126th line or something. For example, let's say I want to jump to the 7th line. It will actually jump down to the 7th line here. In this example, my program is very short, so I'm only jumping in small amounts. But when your program is like 1,000 lines of code, then Control G and go to a large number. If you remember what that line number is, that could be very useful. So another feature, a control key, it's very useful, is to comment your code, which is Control/. So let's say I want to comment this entire program out. If I do Control/, notice that it automatically adds these comments, so your entire block of code that you selected is commented out. You can do Control// to undo that. But if you do it multiple times, notice that it comments upon comments. But if I Control/, it undo that comment. So that's a useful tool to block out certain sections of code with a quick key. And upper and lowercase, this is common in other editors as well. So let's say you have some text and you want to uppercase just so that stylistically it's clear. Control-Shift-U. So Control-Shift-U uppercases the entire text. If you do Control-Shift-L, it lowercase the text. So lower and uppercase, sometimes if you type, it's cumbersome, but if you do this Control-Shift, it's much faster and more consistent. And I already showed the L, which is the lower. Now there are other ones that are specific to 4.3 and above, which I won't go into. I have actually an older SAS EG42 here, but I recommend doing the Control-I, which actually automatically indents all of your program code, so that it adds, for example, 3 spaces automatically. So if your code is not pretty to start with, you can do Control-I and it automatically indents. I won't be able to show you everything because I'm on version 4.2 here. But there's actually more to this class, but I just want to give you a flavor as to some of the quick keys that you can do within EG to really make your programming more efficient.